Cooking with fresh herbs can be expensive, but you say there's no need to spend money each time you want to cook with them. Can you explain that?
Yeah, if you go to the grocery store to get herbs, most of the times you're going to get a small packet with just a couple ounces of herbs, and they're going to run you $2, $3, $4, $5. Sometimes you can get a bunch of parsley or a bunch of cilantro for $1 or $2, which is a good buy, but if you don't need all that at once, there's no point in buying it. The smart thing to do is just buy the plants. Have your own herb garden. I mean, something simple. You don't have to have a huge, elaborate, with a fountain outside or anything like that. Just do something simple. You can set up a light on the inside. They have plant lights for your herbs. Set them in a window, whatever. Keep the temperature fairly reasonable. But they're really easy to grow. It's kind of hard to mess it up. And that way you can take what you need when you need it. And if there's an excess, you can dry them. You can freeze them, whatever you want to do. I personally have several herbs in my garden, the ones that I would need. I'm not going to grow something that I never use because that's just pointless, but the ones I'm going to use more of, obviously I'm going to have more plants. But you can get a wide variety of different plants, especially this time of year. They're available everywhere.
Now your first recipe is on chimichurri pork chops. Mm-hmm. Explain those, please.
Well, chimichurri is the sauce that goes on top, and it's basically like an herb salsa without any heat. I mean, you're going to have a bunch of different herbs, a little vinegar, shallot gives it a nice oniony flavor without the strong bite of raw onion, and you're just going to blend it up with maybe a clove or two of garlic. And you can put that on anything. You can use it as a sandwich spread. You can use it on any kind of meat. You can toss vegetables with it. But this I'm using on top of a pork chop. This is a center cut pork chop because, in my opinion, anything else is rubber and it's awful and it's not worth eating. These you just sear for just a few minutes on each side in a hot pan, and that's it. I mean, they cook fairly quickly. Of course, depending on the thickness, if you get one that has 2 bones or something that's going to be thicker, it's going to take more time, and you can finish it in the oven if you'd like. But this is just a simple preparation of the pork chop with the sauce on top.
And you also made herb pasta.
Yeah, that's really good. It's a basic fresh pasta recipe, which I love. And you're just going to add fresh herbs at the beginning. Put them in a food processor. Blend them up a bit. They don't have to be pureed. You don't want any huge chunks, but otherwise, it's pretty foolproof. The eggs go in with the herbs after they're crushed, they're ground up, and then the flour, and it makes the pasta for you pretty much. Make sure you let it rest in the fridge. That way, the flour has time to absorb the liquid. If you don't let it rest, your pasta is going to be weird at the end. But it's just your basic pasta. You just use a butter sauce with it. And there you go. It's really good.
And what about the chocolate mint flourless torte?
Well, that's something different. I had not personally used fresh herbs in a dessert before. And this was a recipe I found. The original recipe called for basil. And I thought that might be a stretch. I wasn't sure if the readers would be interested in that. So this is, it's a basic chocolate torte recipe, flourless. There's only 3 eggs in the mix, but it doesn't make a whole lot, so it's not it's not a huge souffle or anything. And this is it's neat because you take the fresh mint and put it in the food processor with the sugar, and that makes a mint sugar. And it's kind of like damp sand when you use it, but it works just as well as anything else. And you get that flavor of the mint in with the chocolate, and it's nice. It's different. Usually you're going to use like a peppermint oil or an extract for dessert, but this is the real thing, and it's good.